This recipe is so easy, it's cozy, you can do it all in one pot, it's dairy-free, it's gluten-free, and I think you're gonna wanna add it to your weeknight rotation. Let's make 1 pot caramelized shallot and thyme pasta. Is it still possible to spend $50 at the grocery store and then make a week of meals? I would say it is. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. This is my budget grocery series. This is the 11th edition that I've done, where I take a $50, $60, $70 grocery haul, and then I show you how to turn that into 5 different recipes that each make 4 servings. So this is recipe number 1. Welcome back to the series. I'm so excited to be doing another edition. And today we're gonna be making a 1-pot caramelized shallot pasta. It's gonna be creamy and cozy and just like perfect for this time of year. Also, if you're looking for breakfast for the week to go along with my meal plan, that's available for you on my Substack for all free subscribers. The cost is $18.50 to add the breakfast items to the grocery list, and you'll get 18 to 20 savory breakfast muffins for the week. Each one has over 14 grams of protein, and they round out your meal plan for the week. So before we dive in, I'll talk about each of the ingredients. There's honestly not a lot of ingredients in this recipe, which makes it perfectly easy, but it still has a lot of flavor. In terms of the pantry staples that we're gonna be using, we have olive oil, salt, pepper, and dried thyme. That's literally it. So very, very simple. If you're trying to figure out what the grocery list is, what the pantry staples are, head to my most recent video before this. I talk through the grocery list, all the meals that we're gonna be making, all the pantry staples that you're gonna need. I will link everything for you in the description here. For our packaged goods, it's gonna be 32 ounces of chicken broth. I got low sodium chicken broth. If you wanted to use veggie broth, that will work perfectly fine as well. We have our gluten-free pasta. This is a brown rice and quinoa fusilli pasta. I am doing all these recipes gluten-free. If you're not gluten-free, you can of course just use regular pasta, but I would recommend a fusilli or a rigatoni. I think a penne would work too. And then one of my favorite ingredients, coconut milk. This is what's gonna bring that creaminess. If you don't wanna use coconut milk, you can swap it for cream. I normally suggest a light cream as a sub for coconut milk. And if you haven't used coconut milk before, I encourage you to try it out. It's not gonna taste like coconut. So we're using half of the can for this. You're gonna use the other half in a recipe later in the week. And that's kind of how this series works. We use up the recipes throughout the week so that you pretty much end the week with nothing left over. That's my goal every time I do this series. And then for produce, the main produce, like I said, is shallots. We're using 5 shallots. It's gonna have a lot, but we're gonna caramelize them. It's not gonna feel like it's too much shallot. We're gonna be using some garlic. It's gonna be caramelized in there with the shallot. It's gonna be so, so delicious. I just love that flavor. And then for our protein, we're gonna be using ground pork. Again, we're using half of the ground pork for this. It's the same kind of principle. We're gonna be using the other half in another recipe this week, and it's gonna give just some textural element. We're gonna crisp it up in the pan, and then when it gets all those little brown bits, that's when we're gonna add the shallots, and it's gonna make it super, super flavorful. First, we're gonna do just some simple prep of slicing up the shallot, mincing the garlic. Before I get into that, do not forget to hit subscribe. Thank you for following along. I'm posting a new video every day this week. And if you want early access to all the recipes, I've already shared them on my Substack. So I'll link the Substack, that's my newsletter, in the description here. And I also will send out a recap of the grocery list, all of the recipes. And I just do that kind of thing every week over on Substack. So join my newsletter, and that is completely free to get those recaps. All right, let's dive in. Let's start making our 1-pot pasta. Now I'm considering 1 shallot to be the combined shallots. Sometimes there ends up being 2 in there, but for the purposes of shopping for your list, if it is a double one like this, that's totally fine. You can just count that as 1. Okay, so we're just gonna very thinly slice these. The thinner that you slice them, the easier it's gonna be to get them caramelized quickly. And we want this to be a quick meal, so getting them caramelized quickly is key. I feel like someone's probably gonna ask me if there's a sub for shallot in this recipe, and you could do just caramelized yellow onion. I think the shallot though is really gonna be the right flavor for the pasta, so I don't recommend subbing it. I'm just gonna mince up the 6 garlic cloves. And I'm a garlic girl. I'm going 6. You honestly could probably do more, but I think 6 will give a good garlicky taste. Okay, now that our simple prep is done, let's get cooking. So to start, we wanna get this crispy pork going. So I'm gonna heat a tablespoon of oil in a Dutch oven. And this is a pretty big pot. I think this is a 4.5 quart. I'll confirm, and I'll link this in the description. You want something that's big enough that's gonna hold all of this stuff. So if you're not doing a Dutch oven, I would do like a very deep skillet because there's gonna be a lot going in here. So let's do 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So this oil is heated, and just a reminder, we're saving that other half of the ground pork if you're following the list. So just wanna use half. You just wanna mix it up and kind of break into small pieces as it browns. And now you can see we're getting that browning on there. You can even turn the heat up to high for a second if you aren't seeing that. Now that we have that, it's gonna remove the crispy pork from the pan, but we want those little bits. And you want the oil to stay in the pan, but if you feel like it kind of came out with the pork, just gonna supplement with like another tablespoon. And now let's add our shallot. We're gonna let them cook down for a bit. You wanna get them nice and soft and golden and caramelized. So keep stirring as much as you can while they cook down. And if you feel like you need more oil, supplement as needed. You don't want them to burn. Okay, so the shallots are really nice and golden brown. They've been cooking for about 6 minutes. So now I'm gonna add in our salt, black pepper, and thyme, and our minced garlic. And you just wanna mix this for 1 to 2 minutes. You just wanna be able to smell the fragrance of these spices. Okay, so that's been just about a minute, and I can really smell that garlic and thyme. Now I'm going to pour in the pasta. Just mixing it in to kind of distribute that shallot. And now I'm just gonna do our broth directly on top. We've got the oven at 400. You want the pasta to be completely covered. So this is one of those situations where if you're using a different type of pasta than what I'm using, you may need to supplement with water. We've got some more liquid coming in. The half can of coconut milk. And if some of it is in those kind of clumps, that's totally fine. They will melt down. So let's just mix that right in. So now we're gonna cover our pot. This is going into the oven. We're gonna let it bake until the pasta is al dente and it's absorbed a lot of that liquid. So I let that bake for 25 minutes. I would say between 25 and 30 is probably gonna be the right spot for gluten-free. And now what I'm gonna do is just give it a stir, and we're gonna let it sit just to finish absorbing that sauce for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so this has been sitting for about 10 minutes. You can tell that it really soaked up a lot of that broth. There's pretty much no extra liquid in the pot, so that's what we want. So I'm just going in with our crispy pork. We're adding it back to the pot and mix again. And it's really just giving like so cozy, so comforting. We got the flavor of the thyme. It's nice and salty and creamy, so good. If you wanted to add a green, I think a little bit of chopped kale or spinach in here would be great. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of extra thyme on top. Let's get it plated up because I need to do a taste test. Okay, so all of this broth really did get absorbed up in letting it sit, so don't skip out on letting it sit after it comes out of the oven. So this meal was very easy to make. We got the crispy pork done, we caramelized the shallot, we added our spices, and then it was just a matter of adding the pasta and the liquid and letting it bake. So if you need just an easy weeknight meal, I really wanted to start with this one because it is so easy. Mondays I feel like it'd be kind of hectic, so if you're following along for the week, it's gonna be an easy meal to put together. It's gonna be super cozy. So let's just go right in and do a taste test because I'm dying to try it. So good, so cozy. I feel like I've said the word cozy like 50 times during this video, but it's because it is giving cozy. It's giving creamy and just like satisfying. You want to sit on the couch and devour it. So I loved making this recipe. This was recipe 1 for this week, and I have 4 more recipes to share with you. I'm gonna be sharing a new video every day this week, so make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're following along, and I share this stuff across all of the platforms that I'm on. So I have short form videos to share with you on Instagram and TikTok. I have videos that I'll share on Facebook as well if you're on there, Pinterest if you're on there, and then Substack, my newsletter. That's where you can get a written copy of all of this. You can get it right to your email. I'm gonna send out a free recap email on Sunday with the grocery list, the pantry staples, all of the recipes, instructions for how to make everything, and also just like helpful tips. And don't forget to grab my breakfast prep recipe too over on Substack. I've got breakfast for the week all planned out for you at just $1 per serving. That's completely free. Go grab it. There's links for all of that stuff in the description. Links for all my kitchen tools are in the description. I got everything that you need in there. And then of course the recipe. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this one. I'm very excited to come back tomorrow for the next recipe. So I will see you then.